Greetings, cyberspace cadets. It's Irate Prostate here. It's another Thursday afternoon, and that means it's time for hot takes. Today we've got a special guest in the in the room in the studio with us. It's failure accomplished. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, I'm fine. I just got off of watching the movie that we're gonna be talking about. Very fresh in my mind.
Killer, me too. And of course, it wouldn't be a hot takes episode without Big Fat Brian.
What up, fam?
What up, indeed. So this week we're looking at a movie called The Bad Batch. It's directed and written by this lady named Anna Lily Amanpour, and I've never
heard you said that
her.
wrong. It's Anna Lily Amanpour.
Oh, see, you're saying like that with you're a very racist motherfucker. I'm going to come after you with my whip and chains. So yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic film. So y'all want to just get in and start talking about it?
Well, first thing we need to know about it is, and you see it as soon as the film starts, is that it's a Vice production. Vice Films. Vice. You might know them for some of their YouTube videos, but yeah, that instantly tells me that's a 5 out of 10 out of the gate before
What? No, Vice makes quality content. I don't know what you're talking about. They've never made anything shitty ever.
Well, and when we're guaranteed no political bias whatsoever, it's going to be a completely apolitical film. When you see that, when you see that mark on it. But yeah, so what it is it's a dystopian future in which the country or which whatever is like, if you're not a useful member of society, you're referred to as the Bad Batch, and this includes disabled people. This includes, obviously, we find out later, illegal aliens, drug addicts, criminals. So it's like everybody that's unable to contribute to society. They're labeled as Bad Batch. They're tattooed. Like concentration camp, and then they're put either inside or outside of a fence. I couldn't figure that out.
It's a fence that leads to the desert outside of Texas.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a wall, but I guess it's kind of a wall on the sides of it in places. So, is that the big beautiful wall? Just a chain link fence? I don't know. So let's start. So we've got a main character. The main character is this young blonde girl. We really don't know anything about her because she really doesn't say anything until like halfway into the movie. But there's a lot of panoramic shots of the desert, and then there's a point where she gets kidnapped by this group of cannibals, right? So let's talk about that. All right, failure.
Well, I mean,
I'll say this much: like the film, it's shot really well. I'll say that much. Like everything looks nice for the most part. I don't get too much of a dystopian feel out of it, though. It just feels like, just gonna film in the desert.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like it really feels like sort of the dystopian portion of it was half-assed. I know they tried to have that plane that was crashed in the desert where all the cannibals live and everything, and if you've ever been to like a Mexican desert, that's just sort of what it looks like. It's not dystopian, you know?
I wonder if that was left over from fucking Lost, from the plane
They
crash
just
in
use
Lost.
the
old set
scene
from Lost, yeah. That old beach scene. I don't know. I was just, so it sounds like we're going to all be on the same page with this thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so yeah, we start off with this dumb blonde gets kicked out of the state of Texas, thrown into the desert. So she decides to stumble, onto a car and just to casually look around, and before she knows it, these cannibals come along.
Yeah,
Friendly desert people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she's obviously they come along in a golf cart, right? And there's clearly there's a woman man thing that's like a muscle woman, and she tackles I want to say her name is Arlene, I believe. Yeah,
Doesn't
Arlene.
even matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. But she tackles Arlene. They bring them back to the cannibal camp, tether her to a plane, inject her arm and leg with, I'm assuming, numbing solution, or seasoning, who knows. Cut off the arm and leg and cook it and eat it. So now she's all gimpy. She's got that one missing leg and one missing arm, so it's you're thinking it's going to be pretty hard for her to get away, but she manages to take a rebarb pipe and beat the muscle woman to death with the rebarb pipe, and that is the first point where I'm like, okay, well, this isn't too realistic then, because well, obviously it's not realistic, but it's we're not going with physics here, because that woman would get hit in the head and she'd be fucking pissed.
Okay, there's two things about that scene that really bother me. She hits the woman in the head, and now it's time for her escape.
Yeah.
She finds herself dragging to herself to a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
She's on sand.
Yeah.
She's on sand. Exactly. She's on sand, and of course she's going to get on a skateboard and get away, like laying on her back on a skateboard, like pushing with one arm, right? Because she should be going in a circle. I mean, if you think about it. And then, of course, the sand, she's going to run into soft places and stuff. So it's not very realistic, to say the least. So, here's the deal. My question was this done all schlocky and tongue-in-cheek like Repo Man? Or is this like, is the writer-director trying to present this as a serious vision of what the future is, and we've got this collection of, it's almost like each act or scene leads up to some kind of conclusion, but it's all the conclusions add up to, I don't know. It's just it felt like almost like it was an idea for maybe a series or something, and they got to go for 2-hour movie. So I don't know. It just didn't make any fucking sense.
Here's a major problem with the film.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue probably would only fill 4 pages.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not a lot of talking in this movie. There's very minimal. There seems to be messages hidden in there, but it's so done before that it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, yeah, but also there are a lot of subtle messages hidden. Like you'll notice, for instance, the frame that's up right now is her sitting with her hand underneath her chin, and it says "This isn't real" on a sign in the background, right? And that's subtle commentary about how we live our lives, but it's so vague and so unrelated to the situation that it doesn't really make any sense. It's like somebody's edgy version of trying to get their message across. Wonder if that's got anything to do with Vice. But trying to get their message across, without, you know, bothering to actually create a decent message around the subtle message they're trying to get across, you know, without making you invested in the characters at all. It's there, you know, you were right. There's only maybe 3 or 4 pages of dialogue. I feel like fucking Conan the Barbarian had more dialogue. You know?
Yeah.
Chrome.
Exactly.
So early on in the movie, and you'll see like in the posters and everything, she loses an arm and a leg. It feels like they could have just fucking raped her, and that would have been easier than like, oh fucking, is this just cannibals? Like emotional scars, I think would have done instead of the, you know, like, yeah, she's limping around and fucking doesn't have an arm, because her whole thing was at one point she has a half-assed revenge.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That really doesn't feel satisfying.
Yeah, like when she's at the what is it supposed to be, a fucking a landfill, a landfill in the middle of the desert, and so
hazardous waste area.
Right, like it wouldn't have been already picked through anyway. And so she sees the lady, one of the people, and this little kid that you know that ate her arm and her leg, and she's back for revenge. She's got a pistol, and did you see her shoot the fucking bird before that? It was like, oh yeah, okay, you're left-handed, you're non-dominant hand, you're gonna make a perfect shot and kill the fucking, you know, kill a crow. In flight.
And a one-hand fire with a woman that clearly can't lift 25 pounds. Like,
no shit, man.
Come the fuck on.
That was a 45 too. Yeah, exactly. A kick on that motherfucker would have been something else. And you know,
but they don't show anything that like all right, 2 things. They don't show any development because Jim Carrey ends up finding her on the fucking skateboard, saves her from the fucking birds that are trying to eat her, and fucking takes her to a bunch of Mexicans that end up taking care of her. You don't see any development of her actually getting strong. You just, like, it's like 6 months later, now she has a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, and her arm's all healed up. You know, she's got a really nice nub there and shit.
Yeah.
It just didn't add up.
But yeah, you don't have any development of like, okay, so what have you learned or anything? And also, she doesn't really seem like that strong of a character aside from having a gun.
Well, and that's what's interesting is that they have all this time that there's all these montage things going on and shit, and we don't learn.
No, it's not even montages. It's fucking 5 minutes of just staring.
Staring at the desert.
A montage would have helped.
Right. Well, and even there's one point where they do like a short montage, but it's like they don't tell us any story. It's like they don't. All these characters at the end of the movie, I don't know jack shit about any of them. Really, except for the chick, sounds like she's from the South, and she's named her name's Arlen, so maybe she's from Texas. I don't know. Okay. Deduction. The guy from Miami.
This is a Vice movie. Yeah, this is a Vice movie, and I gotta say, they fucking play into fucking stereotypes like a motherfucking the Korean woman fucking selling noodles, the fucking Mexican saying homes, the fucking bad Razor Ramon accent on fucking Aquaman.
Dude, that was horrible, man. That was the worst Cuban accent, man.
Yeah, they really shouldn't have picked Jason Momoa for that. Like,
I mean, my God, that was just a horrible set. I mean, it was, all these characters could have been like really interesting, depthy characters. Right. By
the way, this film stars a couple of big name actors. Yeah. Like I said, Jim Carrey was in the movie. Keanu Reeves, that we still haven't gotten to. Jason, he's in the movie. You might know him from Justice League or Game of Thrones, blah blah. But
Giovanni Ribisi, fucking Jim Carrey. Let's see who else. There's somebody I'm missing. Who?
I do want to say that Jim Carrey played the perfect role for Jim Carrey in this movie.
A deaf mute.
A deaf mute who's crazy in the desert. You know, he seemed to embody
here's
the
the thing:
real well.
if you didn't tell me it was Jim Carrey, I probably would have like not even noticed it.
Really?
Yeah,
I think he may have been the best performance out of the whole film, or maybe Ribisi was not bad either.
But by the time Jim Carrey comes around, I'm already fucking zoned out for the most part. I have to be like, oh yeah, that's right, that's fucking Jim Carrey. All right, the cannibals. What the fuck is it with the bodybuilder cannibals?
Yeah, man. I swear to God, man, I was going, dude, they're going to need a lot more protein than a fucking skinny girl's arm and leg. You know, to keep that kind of muscle.
Not just that. That's not how, you know, you can eat humans, I guess, long pig, but that's not how that works. Like, you're in the desert. You're not going to be bodybuilding if you have limited water and you have, you know, limited vegetables and produce, because you need the fucking minerals from those. And also, eating human meat is bad for you. It will kill you.
Yeah, especially if you eat the brains. See, people don't.
Right.
You know.
So far we have the main character chick. She ends up being cast out into the desert because she isn't fit to be in society. Mm-hmm. The cannibals eat her leg and her arm. She gets saved by Jim Carrey. That's just a fucking hobo out there in the desert. He takes her to the Mexicans. The Mexicans give her a prosthetic leg for I don't know what reason. Like there's nobody like there's not a character there that like is linked to like yeah bitch, I help you out, you know, like no.
Well, and it's a perfect size for her too, right?
Yeah.
Like what are the odds that's going to happen?
Well, can you even think of a character in Comfort, because that's what the city was called, right?
Yeah, right.
Can you think of a single character in there other than Keanu Reeves that even mattered?
Well, the women that are carrying his baby, for what reason? You know, the dream is inside
what are their
you.
Names?
You can't enter the dream until the dream enters you, right? And it's like, so it's all about conceiving children for this guy who's like a cross between Jim Jones, Pablo Escobar, and who I had somebody else popped in my mind, and Hugh Hefner.
Okay, but what are any of those women's names?
We don't know.
How about Giovanni's name in the movie?
Well, his cast name is he's just the screamer.
Yeah,
he just yells about pennies and fucking. He's just a crazy fucking. I was about to say homeless dude, but they're all fucking pretty much homeless.
Yeah. But my point is that there's literally nothing. There's the only thing you can take away from the City of Comfort is that they all do drugs, because there's that rave thing they do. Keanu Reeves impregnates a bunch of women, and that's really it. That's the only takeaway from that place.
Well, yeah, LSD is obviously a sacrament too in this new religion.
Well, hold on. There's something in that he talks about. He talks about how he is the one responsible for when they flush a toilet for it going somewhere else and them not. How?
Exactly.
How? I don't see a city fucking sewers and plumbing fucking service out there.
How does that economy work? Because obviously he's
drug trade.
Well, exactly. See what I was going to say. He's like the top of the pyramid of this invisible economy, you know, which is based on drug trade. Well, who's buying those drugs? What is the what's the currency? None of these questions are answered ever. It's just it's kind of like pisses me off in a way because if it was done with all tongue in cheek and stuff, it would be obvious. But I think this writer director wants us to take this shit seriously. Like this is Mad Max quality.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is a Mad Max quality film. You know. And I got, man, I don't know, but you know, they did have two good songs in there. One by DeAntwoord, and the Boy George song that was good. You know, there was some good music times, and some of the sound design was okay. And
I'm willing to bet.
Go ahead.
I'm willing to bet they spent a big chunk of their budget on music and the actors, and rest of it. The rest of it, I like. A lot of the scenery is just desert. I bet you like they went to like one of those hippie desert towns.
Or Burning Man. I thought they might have like done a Burning Man thing, like where they said, okay, tonight we're gonna like set up the big ghetto box looking thing, which
maybe
that didn't make any sense.
Let me see where this fucking movie was filmed. I bet you it was filmed in some fucking hippie ass town.
Either that or like fucking like Australia or some remote fucking place like that.
By the way, budget $6 million, opening weekend.
Oh, Jesus.
89,000. Gross USA in total, 177,000. So somebody just tossed away fucking 5.8 million dollars on a stinker, on a dud. Let's see, much of the filming was done in Bombay Beach, California, which is technically still part of blah, blah, blah. And many locals were cast as extras in the film.
Wait. Isn't that ANCAP City? Hold on. I'm going to look that up real quick.
Oh, rings a bell, huh?
Yeah. Because I mean, I live in California, so I know a little bit of it.
Let's see. It was shot in 28 days, which is
obvious.
Yeah, pretty obvious.
But there's a lot of fucking scenes that are just like there's no switching or anything. It's just like, all right. There's one scene where fucking Aquaman just sits there and does a drawing of Jim Carrey's character for like about a solid minute.
That was the only comedy relief in the movie, though. That's the sad part. Like, it was only... The only reason I even liked that small part of the movie was because Jim Carrey is playing a fucking, a homeless mute that's skinny and decrepit and looks all fucking gross and missing teeth and shit, right? And he strikes a pose and he's like, draw me like you draw your other women, basically.
Yeah.
This guy...
I didn't mind Jim Carrey's character, and here, like, him not saying anything probably made him the best character in this movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gets the award of the best in film, man.
Keanu Reeves' character, I didn't feel it.
Oh, dude, it was like he was just phoning that shit in, wasn't he? It's like, yeah, man, I'm older. Okay, I guess, I'll put on these. I'll just. You want me to do this? Okay, I'll do it here.
Well, also to go back to the actual lines that he said, the who do you think moves the shit out of comfort, type of thing. Yeah. Obviously the writer-director wrote these lines, but they were both written poorly to essentially give give Keanu Reeves' character an air of egomaniacal, I am the god of this place feeling, and also they were delivered poorly. So so the whole thing was just, it was like, I don't even care. I just hope you shoot this guy in the head.
Exactly.
Like, to be honest, had the movie just been her running around shooting people, including the kid, I wouldn't have cared because there was no ties to any of the characters. You don't feel bad for any of them.
Nothing. No emotional attachment at all. I didn't feel jack shit for anybody. And that's kind of tragic because I think that there was potential to actually pull something decent out of this film. I don't think anybody gave a shit. To be honest, I really don't.
I'm just like I was trying to find out who this person is married to or fucking is friends with or whatever, because I can't imagine like getting all these big names together for a movie like this.
Well, I mean, I feel like maybe all of these big names were told this was going to be a really artistic, revolutionary style movie put on by Vice. You know, they may have been misled because, to be fair, Jason Momoa, 2016 Jason Momoa, that was a hot commodity. You know,
yeah, no shit.
Like, how do you have a movie come out with him in it and nobody has heard of it? Along with Jim Carrey, fucking Keanu Reeves. I mean, I guess Giovanni's sort of famous. He's not really that famous.
But still a name.
Yeah, it's still a name. That's 4 big name actors. And I've never heard of the movie. It wasn't even featured on Netflix.
So, all right, here's the question that begs to be asked here: is failure? What made you want to talk about this movie and specifically?
Oh, me and Brian were just fucking browsing through movies on Netflix, and it popped up as something that had Keanu Reeves, and then we looked and we saw it also had Jim Carrey in it, which was like, okay, that's a unique combo, and it looked unique enough. Sadly, it didn't deliver on its dystopian future. It just felt like a shitty hipster wannabe Mad Max movie.
Oh, and it was.
We're going to nickname this film Sad Max, because even rhymes with them. Bad Batch, Sad Mad Max. You know, I mean, it's like, oh Jesus, I didn't even notice that until now.
It's just Bad Max.
I'm DMing you a couple of pictures of Bombay Bay City, California. If you want to go ahead and put them up so people can see what this place looks like on the regular. It's an abandoned shithole. Yeah, they definitely spent the money on the actors, because there's no way they spent any money in this city or on location at all. And it's not like the editing was extremely hard or anything. I didn't see any CGI.
Yeah, most of the shit was in desert. Well, you know, she didn't have a leg and an arm, but the arm one seems like the hard one, because the leg one, I think they solved it by just putting a brace on her leg.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, you just put like a little cover on, like a sock or some shit like that, and boom. Oh, that's just prosthetic. That's not really her leg.
Mm-hmm. Well, that and the arm isn't too hard either, though. You just put a one of those green socks over the arm, and boom, it's gone. Chroma key. I can do that on my computer.
Exactly. It's
chroma
key. Exactly.
All right. How much did her arm play into the movie?
None.
Fucking none. I know where you're going with this. I know you're going to say, what was the point of cutting her leg and arm off, because it doesn't really play into the movie. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't. There's no point.
Just seems like a very throwaway thing that, like I said, could have just fucking rape her, beat her up, whatever. Like, you could have easily created some emotional scars. Then she escapes and then decides to, you know, get payback or whatever.
Yeah.
May have been done a few too many times, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's been fucking done.
Are you saying this movie was one giant cliche after another?
All right. There's one part where Jason fucking Aquaman is in the desert with her, right? And some random guy in a scooter just pulls up because everybody's riding around in either golf carts or fucking scooters.
Uh-huh.
He wants to trade her leg for a gasoline
For
thing.
some gas.
Yeah. So he just decides, fuck it, here, have the entire girl with the leg.
But that was that was a setup so he could throw his magic throwing knife, and then of course his fantastically perfectly balanced meat cleaver. I mean, because everybody can throw that shit. It's just magic.
Yeah,
But
well,
I feel like that trade moment has been done way better. Like, I'll give you a moment where a trade has been done way better. Waterworld.
dry land is not a myth.
Dude, Waterworld was good. It had a lot of really, really good moments in it, man. I'll defend Waterworld.
But I'm talking specifically the trade part where they're like the guy pulls up with his little raft and they're trying to figure out like what can we trade.
Yeah, the whole
And he's like can I have their hair? And, fucking it's like I have paper. How much paper for their hair? And eventually he's like fucking cut. And then it comes to the moment where he's like, there's one really creepy moment though because he's like, how much for the wee one, or how much?
Yeah.
And it ends in an interesting way where, he just fucks him up and takes his fucking paper.
Man, it's just interesting that this whole post-apocalyptic thing is becoming Brian and I had declared the horror, the zombie genre dead about a month or two, a month and a half ago. God, we've been doing this like over 2 months, man.
We've been doing this over 6 months now.
Holy shit! Time's flying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we declared that the zombie genre is officially dead, film wise at least. Okay, so to leave it open for maybe some television show to say that shit. But are we getting close to the point of saying that about the whole fucking post-apocalyptic thing?
No, they're just doing them poorly though. Like, look, this is so poorly done.
All right. I don't know if y'all have seen this movie, but I kept thinking about this movie during every minute I watched this film. There's a movie that does what this movie wanted to do with less actors, with a smaller budget, and better acting and better script and just better everything. And it's a movie called The Rover, with
Guy Pearce, right?
Guy Pearce, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's an Australian film, and it's fucking incredible. Because it's just you're riveted. They pull you in. The only person you don't learn anything about, you finally learn something about. You know what I'm saying? The one mysterious character in it. So it's the perfect answer to this film. And I strongly recommend anybody see that. And if you don't like it, tell me why.
All right, I just saw the picture of Miami Man. Do you want to, Brian? Do you want to explain what Miami Man is?
I'm a little confused myself. What?
Miami Man is Jason Momoa's character. That's his name, right? He's got Miami Man written, tattooed across his chest. His artistic ability apparently made him a good tattoo artist back before they decided to kick all the miscreants and illegal aliens out of the fucking country, and he's also Cuban because he's got the star with the Cuban flag on the side of his neck and stuff.
Yeah.
And and of course, if I didn't know any of that shit, I wouldn't have known it. I would have just thought, okay, he's just all right. So he's a character from Miami with a really shitty, Hispanic accent.
Like, there's so many ways. Like, all right. if you want to portray like Danny Trejo, you don't have to put fucking Mexican man on his fucking chest.
No shit,
right? You know, I'm telling you, they had $6 million in budget. They could have got Danny Trejo. Like,
Well,
fuck, that would have made way more sense.
He would have been a lot better in this. But I was thinking they do talk, and she says something about Cuba being, ain't it near like Hawaii or something like that? You know, her southern accent's really horrible. It's overdone. The chick wasn't all that, you know, she's not that good looking, to be honest. But then again, if you're going for the girl, you know, your average girl, then you've got an average skinny girl. Okay, I'll take that. But there was not a lot of takeaway shit from this, man. It was like everything could have been cast better. It could have been written better. It could have been, you know, like you were saying, I do agree that the cinematography is the one thing I've got like circled like 3 or 4 times. Just the cameraman was obviously good and fucking bored.
Yeah.
and felt underappreciated.
All right. Here's the thing is, he's good that he was able to shoot around the lack of shit that they had. Mm-hmm. Like, they really didn't have any, like we just saw a picture of the boombox earlier. Mm-hmm. Why is there like is this Burning Man? Why is there a fucking light up boombox?
Right, exactly. I thought the same thing.
I feel like they didn't have to bring that into the city; it was already there.
Maybe.
You know, but and they just.
Well, there's that scene where they get out under, what is that, a parachute? During the fucking sandstorm or whatever it is.
Oh, where it looked like they were about to kiss.
Yeah, like it was like, okay, now they're gonna fuck, but no, they don't fuck. Or you know, it didn't make sense. Just the way they looked at each other, you know. It's
now,
like, is this supposed to be sexual tension?
If we're getting to the end of this,
no, we're playing around. We got plenty of time, unless there's somebody that wants to come in and talk with us about it.
No. I meant the end of the movie. You know, talking about like what happens in the end.
Okay, you want to bring it up that far?
I mean, yeah, we're basically there. It's
20.
Let's be honest. There's no fucking storyline in this movie.
Right. It like I said, it's like event to event to event, right? And
yeah.
It was like a Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a lot of stalling. There was like there was all right, I'm gonna fucking spoil everything in one fucking shot for you. Fucking dumb bitch gets thrown out of fucking Texas, walking through the desert. Oh, here come the fucking cannibals. Let me run. Fucking big ass fucking cannibal bitch jumps on her. Strap her to a fucking airplane. Cut off her leg. Cut off her fucking arm. They fucking eat the leg and arm. She covers herself in shit at one point, so the fucking lady has to come in and fucking unchain her to give her a fucking washing down. So, did she ever get a washing down, or did she escape covered in shit?
6 months passed and it all just falls off, I guess.
Yeah, she covered herself in shit for what reason?
No, but when she escaped, she wasn't that shitty.
Exactly. Right. When she's on the skateboard. She got out of that whole compound full of fucking weightlifters and shit on a fucking skateboard, right? Yeah. With one arm.
At half a mile an hour.
Yeah, there's a scene where the compound of the fucking cannibals, there's fucking weightlifter cannibals. They're fucking ripped. They're like, they would make Arnold look like a fucking puny weak man. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, like, how? What are you? You need more than a fucking skinny 125, or not even, what was she, like 95 pounds?
95 pounds, yeah, for sure.
Soaking wet.
I mean, look, there's a lot of HGH in the rocks out there.
Yeah. All right, so she escapes, and mind you, there was like another dude that was there too, chained up. She could have helped the fucking dude out. Nope, she just fucking gets to that skateboard, fucking somehow skates through the fucking sand to the point that like she gets to like a drier surface of like a desert, and the birds are about to fucking sweep in and kill her. Jim Carrey comes in, fucking saves her ass, doesn't say a fucking word, hands her to the Mexicans. The Mexicans fucking take care of her somehow, and fucking 6 months later, she's walking around with a prosthetic leg, has a gun, is fucking stumbling around, and decides she wants to go get revenge. While she's on her way to get revenge, fucking Aquaman decides to break some bitch's neck and fucking eats her. just cuts her up into pieces. Yeah.
No, don't hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like got the ribs going after that. That was fast, man.
So Aquaman tells Aquaman is drawing at one point, and he's drawing this little girl that we really don't know who the fuck she is or anything. My guess is the lady that got killed. That's probably her daughter or something.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the kid is darling, man. She really is.
He draws this random girl. And so he sends out the little girl with a black lady that happened to be there. I think she was there when the other girl died. No,
I didn't see her, man.
No, but
no, I think it was only the girl and the black lady.
Yeah, but so she goes with the little girl to go gather up like fucking scrap and try to scavenge up like junk from this random little pile in the middle of the desert. Now here comes Blondie. Blondie just oh no, wait, the woman ends up falling into the pile and breaking her leg somehow.
She can't move.
She can't move. Yeah. So Blondie comes and shoots her.
Blows her brains out.
Yeah.
And the little girl just like looks at her and says, "Okay, I'll go with you." I mean, she does mourn over her mom just a little bit, but I mean, it's like whatever. Wake up, mom, wake up. And of course, she didn't. She goes, "Come with me if you want to live." And she drags the kid on.
Yeah,
was that her mom though?
We don't know.
Yeah, you don't have any backstory on it.
But also, that's one of those fucking question marks that never get fucking answered. Well, I don't even know if she's Miami Man's kid. I mean, really?
Well, right. He does say that's his daughter.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. But also one of the other things. You never get any backstory on the main character, like why she was thrown outside the gate or anything. Nope. So,
Miami Man implies that she's crazy, right? A couple of times, you know.
That would make a lot of sense with the ending of the movie.
Yeah, she was crazy as hell, right? All right. So, all right. Do we want to get to the end now, or?
Well, there's one part where like so she's walking with the little girl, and they end up going to Keanu Reeves' like rave party or whatever, and the Blondie takes LSD or some fucking shit and goes to the desert to trip balls, and they spent like a good fucking 3 minutes just capturing her tripping balls in the desert.
Dude, did you get like a sense of like that Oliver Stone The Doors movie in that one scene when she's tripping, like with that shot from Jim Morrison? Did y'all see The Doors movie? Where the universe, I mean, is moving behind her just like it did, you know, in that scene. I guess.
And she's touching the sky and everything.
Yeah.
The whole movie was borrowed from people. That's there's nothing original about this.
No. Okay, so she trips and gets lost in the desert. So lost she don't know where the fucking town is, right?
Yeah.
And she ends up with Miami Man, and she wakes up and he goes, "You don't know where the fuck you are, do you?" And she like looks around and says, "No, I don't." And you want to pick it up, Failure? You're doing a good job with the narrative on this thing. You got it great.
Well, then it just falls apart. It turns into Aquaman trying to find the little girl, so he gets on a scooter and ends up finding Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's like, "I'll tell you, but you gotta draw me like you draw your French lady friends first."
Yeah. Oh god.
He tells him to. He writes down on the pad. What was it again?
Find comfort.
Find comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cryptic in itself, because obviously the subtle message they're going for there is that people find comfort in whatever they can.
Right.
You know, but it was also really dumb and gay.
Right. And the name of the little compound is Comfort. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he either means that, or he's like, you know, he's crazy as fuck, and he just, you know, he needs to settle his heart. But he really means to go find a place, because he knew that the little girl was with you know, Blondie, in Comfort, and and then that's when he runs into the girl tripping balls in the desert, and he goes, "Where's the kid?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know." And during the meantime, Keanu Reeves and all his little pregnant cultettes or whatever, which they never explain any of that shit. You know, what is the dream? Why is Keanu Reeves the dream? Why does he have to impregnate all these women? You know, all these pregnant women don't mean anything to me. I mean, because they didn't tell us anything. There's no religion around this thing, man. They don't even get close to it. All he says is that, you know, I'm responsible for your shit getting flushed down the toilet and going away. Okay.
I'm gonna blow your mind here. It was a metaphor for the colonialism of the white man. I'm not even joking.
You're full of crap, dude. Oh shit.
Think about it. Just think about it for a second.
Oh, Bubba. Oh,
goddamn white man.
We dropping frames because of that. Damn.
Oh man.
Jesus. Oh. So, we come up. All right. So Keanu, half Escobar Jones, has got the little girl feeding her spaghetti. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Finally, you know, it comes to a point where the girl, the blonde girl, says, "Hey, I want to become, you know, one of the pregnant chicks or some shit, you know." And so they're getting her ready. She's in the bathroom. She pulls out of her fake leg. She pulls out a gun. That's where the gun she kept. The gun was in her fucking fake leg. It was hollow. You ever heard of the hollow leg thing? Well, she had one.
Well, this is the biggest tragedy of this movie, though, because at this point, I had my wiener out, it was all lubed up, and I was ready to go, thinking there was going to be some fucking nugget sex, and instead, she escapes.
And so she grabs the little girl, and she's got her gun to the pregnant stomach of the girl that was, you know, getting her room prepped for her so she could be impregnated on her first night with the Dream Master or you know, whatever his name was, and so. She says, you know, I'll let the pregnant chick go as soon as we get far enough, you know, from the compound. So, and sure enough, you know, she walks out with the little girl and the pregnant lady, and they're in this fucking golf cart. They let the pregnant lady go, and then boom, they take the golf cart, and that's when they run into Jason Momoa or Aquaman, and Aquaman says, you know, here he takes the little girl. The little girl goes, "Daddy, I want spaghetti just like the man and Comfort gave me." He just looks at her. You know, she's got her little pet rabbit with her, and
She had a fucking temper tantrum. That's another fucking thing too.
yeah,
So
she had a shit fit, didn't she? So he
Yeah, she got spoiled. She got fucking spoiled by having fucking spaghetti.
2 days of
Palms are
spaghetti.
sweaty.
And he takes the fucking rabbit and kills it, and she's crying, eating it and shit. And and the blonde chick decides, he goes, no, you need to go back, you know. And she goes, no, I want to stay out here with you. And he goes, man, there's nothing but death out here for you. And
Who didn't see that fucking rabbit getting killed?
oh,
come on,
dude,
yeah,
you
no.
knew that was coming.
Yep.
It's Bambi, man. It's it's fucking Old Yeller. You know, it's every fucking dead animal trope. You know, the kid's pet's gonna die, man.
Was that supposed to be our emotional attachment to this movie? Is that?
I think it was supposed to be. If we had any fucking give a shit for this movie, it died with the fucking rabbit. It was about as big as a rabbit too.
Oh fuck! Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So, shit. We got 10 till. So, do we want to reach out and see if anybody wants to hop in and make comments about the movie? I've been putting out feelers all week for people to, to watch it and then come out and talk with us about it. So.
Exactly. So,
I'm just trying to figure out what there is that can be said about it. Like
okay. Yeah. No. I mean, so like, think about this though, because the ending, right? She goes back out into the desert. She meets Jason Momoa or Miami Man. Aquaman. There we go. Aquaman. The Aquaman with no water in the land of no water. But but she meets him with the girl, and they like, you know, she realizes she's one of them. She's part of the Bad Batch. You know, like no, fuck that. You're missing an arm and a leg, and this guy ate your arm and a leg. Now you're gonna like. I mean, I'm assuming she's gonna fuck him. You know,
guys, if you didn't see this movie and you want a bad time, go watch fucking The Bad Batch and then come back and listen to this again. At least you'll have people to you know, join in on the misery. Because it was bad. It was fucking like there was. Look at the fucking picture of Jim Carrey that pops up every now and then. It looks like he's wearing like one of those Nintendo fucking masks, the fucking cardboard.
Yeah, the cardboard sunglasses that are like perfectly square and cut. Which is like, if he made those, he had to have an X-Acto knife, because I mean they were pretty well made. I was kind of admiring that. But
I mean, you know, in a suggestion, you know, here, maybe instead of watching this movie, you could watch the live action Full Metal Alchemist movie and then shoot yourself in the dick, and you would still have more fun. Because I mean, this movie was shit. You know, what would you give it out of 10 if you were gonna rate it?
It's a nice looking movie. Like, I wouldn't want to shit on whoever fucking was responsible for fucking like making it look nice.
Yeah.
But there was no fucking planning at any of the stuff that was on the screen for the most part. Like, the fucking golf cart looks like a fucking new golf cart. It doesn't look like a Mad Max golf cart or anything.
No, it doesn't. There's no fucking... There's no chicken wire on it or anything.
Yeah, the scooters. There's no like fucking cow horns on the scooters or anything. They're just fucking plain scooters.
Like,
you know,
they just got them off the fucking. They just went and somebody go buy us a couple of motorcycles, okay, and they come back with a brand new motorcycle. They, you know, maybe walk a little dirt on them, but shit, they look new. You're right.
Let me read one of the reviews from Netflix. A weird movie and not a single likable character. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I agree. Fuck that. Not a single likable character in the movie.
I totally agree.
Not even Jim Carrey's?
Well, yeah, okay, we'll give Jim the thing, and maybe even Giovanni Ribisi for walking around,
No.
like he was crazy.
Nah.
No,
No.
I don't agree with that. Giovanni Ribisi is shit. He was shit in this movie.
Why do they make pennies? Why do they make pennies? I don't know why they make pennies.
Here's the problem about being crazy in this fucking this is all the fucking rejects. There should be fucking 12 of those walking around, not just fucking one.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well,
they need more examples of because they're some of the main rejects that would have been released as the Bad Batch. They're insane. They're not fixable, right?
Although I do think that as a side note here, maybe in the future we do want to make a large fence that goes around the outside of the desert and throw all the crazy people in there and see what happens.
Or or just put up a wall and keep all the all the desirables outside of the country. That's a great idea.
Undesirables, but yeah.
Or just illegals, man. Because Miami Man was just illegal. He had no papers.
I'm inclined to also throw all the neats out there.
Yeah.
I would give it I'll give it a 2 out of 10. The 2 is just because it looked nice.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to concur with that because we can't fault the fucking cinematographer. The dude probably took the job in good faith and had no idea. I think all blame lies at production. Shit. If there's problems at the bottom, you always look at the top. That's what I was always told. So
true.
I'll give it a 2 too. Great cinematography, whoever you are. You did a good job.
Rest in peace, your career.
How about you, Brian?
I'm also giving it a 2 out of 10. That's actually before you even said anything. That's what I had in mind. And
me too.
You're absolutely right. The only good thing here is the cinematography and Jim Carrey. I gave 1 point for cinematography and 1 point for Jim Carrey.
And if you're like really drunk and stoned and you're just so fucked up you can't like figure out how to find a good movie and this pops up, you might be able to sit through it.
No,
you'll probably fall asleep, but whatever. I still say if you want to see a movie that takes place under these conditions, see The Rover. That's one of those unsung movies that's fantastic. Some of the actors in it you're not going to recognize. I'm not going to give it away, but I highly recommend it. And if you don't like that movie, I will argue with you. I'll fight you in real life. I'll just say that.
Will you?
Yes,
You're going to
I
go
will.
full CRP on us?
I am, man. I am.
Goddamn boomer.
Well, shit. We're running. We got about 2 minutes left. It doesn't look like anybody is wanting to come in and talk about that.
Look, I'll give you an alternative of a movie that you could watch that has more of a plot than this movie. Go watch Tire.
I've never even heard of that. What is that?
Oh, I'm not Tire. Fucking Rubber. Fucking go watch Rubber.
Still never heard of that. What is it?
A car tire comes to life with the power to make people explode
Oh,
and goes
God.
on a murderous rampage through the California desert.
Oh,
So,
man.
it's,
That
so you're
sounds great.
so it's Black Sheep but with tires.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's a good movie. It's way better watched than fucking the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
I'm
Did
totally
anyone
agree.
catch the way that the film was focused specifically on Arlene's pants?
Yeah, the smiley with the and the fucking watermelon.
And the water, yeah, it was almost condescending to the audience, saying, hey, I know what you're trying to look at on her, type of thing.
You want to take a bite of this juicy watermelon, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, one of them, it literally has a wink emoji at you,
Exactly.
And there's a full frame where it's just sitting there looking at her ass, and it's like, okay, well,
come on.
Yeah,
well,
this is shit.
Here's the problem with it. Like, all right, it feels like it feels like it was written and directed by somebody that should have never had a hand in a movie that was dystopian future type of thing.
Yeah.
It felt like somebody that was like, oh, look, I like these people. I'm influenced by these things. I'm gonna it is clear that this person had a little bit of an influence from what's her name from Diane Word.
Yeah, Diane Word. What's her name?
Yeah, Yolandi.
Yeah.
Yolandi Visser. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing about Yolandi is those fucking shorts Yolandi has worn before.
Yeah, she knows how to rock them too.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, also, some of the music in the movie was from their band.
Good catch, fellas.
Yeah, Diane Word had a song in the thing too, so it's clear that
there's influence there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, what we do before we wrap it up, since you're our guest failure, do you have anything you wanna show before we get out of here? Anything coming up?
Go watch Chappie. Chappie is a better watch.
Fuck yes, I agree with that too, man. Definitely, Chappie's a good one. Brian, what about you? You got anything?
Yeah, go subscribe to Big Fat Brian. That guy, he makes some good videos, Definitely 10 out of 10s.
Okay.
Definitely not just some fat guy eating food on a channel.
Okay. And this is Irate Prostate. I'm going to close it out with I've got Cream Stream tomorrow night. Guest will be Celestial Parsnip, and Trippy Poop will be joining us, I believe, as well. So, and with that, I think we're going to say goodbye. And, if you're really, 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 really bored, find another movie to watch, okay? All right, you ready to say goodbye, everybody? Say goodbye.
Later.
Thug life.
Take care, y'all.